Hi, welcome to Moonlit Sage Astrology. This is your Aries season 2025 energy forecast. This forecast will align with the transits I note in my zodiac calendar. If you'd like to take a peek and purchase it for yourself, you could go over to my website, moonlitsage.com, to grab yourself a copy. For those who have this calendar, this energy forecast will help you understand what these symbols and transits in the calendar are so that you can align energetically and know how to prepare for the weeks and months ahead. So let's get started. During this season, March 20th through April 19th, 2025, we'll have still a lot of retrograde energy. So as you'll see on the 22nd of March, we have Sun conjunct Venus retrograde in Aries. Whenever the sun conjuncts another planet, it illuminates and shines a brighter light on the themes of that aspect. So with Venus retrograde in Aries, we're here to really say, am I allowed to receive for being who I am, courageously, boldly? And how can I do better to take action to be in my most authentic energy and not afraid, especially of being who I am? When you are in that energy, Venus in Aries says, I'm allowed to be loved for who I am and I can receive abundance for that. I have no fear in stepping forward, taking action that aligns with my energy. So the sun will conjunct that and be a really nice healing energy that day, probably a boost of energy to help you make those assessments and reflections and help you take a leap forward. Monday, the 24th of March, we'll have Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde in Aries. So this is another powerful time to have the sun illuminate the thoughts you have around the worries, perhaps, of you taking action on your most aligned self. And perhaps there could be some frustrations, as Mercury retrograde is known for. And in Aries, the anger and frustration is actually speaking to the values that might be misaligned for yourself or with others around you, the people you love. And so that will probably shine a light on those and have an opportunity for you to discuss that within yourself and with others around you. That Thursday, we'll have Venus retrograding back into Pisces on the 27th. So now we're switching signs in that retrograde because it's moving backwards through the zodiac signs. And now that Venus retrograde will be in Pisces, we're going to be switching the themes from taking action and being bold and courageous and not having the fear to take action into actually assessing, am I worthy of receiving my dreams come true? Am I worthy of the most abundant, loving life? And how can I surrender to the flow of life? So often with Pisces, it's really beautiful that it's so adaptable and it gets to flow through all the things, knowing that there's a bigger magical plan in place by whatever you believe in. And having the faith and trust to surrender into that flow is really crucial here. So with Venus retrograde, we'll have now themes to say, how can I step more into that flow and let go and surrender so that I can receive more abundance and love in my life? But that same day, it will also connect to and conjunct the last degree of Neptune in Pisces. And so Neptune being in Pisces is all about that spiritual metaphysical energy. And it really is going to be a nice time to align with our vision and see if we're really on that path or not. And where is the resistance? Where are we blocking our dreams from coming true and believing in the vision? That Saturday will be Mercury retrograding into Pisces as well. So now they will both be again in the same sign. Mercury retrograde in Pisces, again, similar themes. This is going to be more about the mindset you have around compassion towards yourself, perhaps looking at themes of you comparing yourself to others or wishing you had something in your life, but it's not there yet. This is also probably a time of reflection on our coping mechanisms of delusional thinking, perhaps detaching from reality, not wanting to really feel the things that are associated with what's happening in our lives. And so often enough, because there's a visionary dreamer energy to Pisces, if overdone, it can go a little bit too far into that realm and detach from the reality. We need to get grounded as well and have a nice balance so that we can appropriately act in our lives in according to what the reality is, as well as moving forward towards our vision. That same day, though, is the solar eclipse in Aries on the 29th. And so because this is a solar eclipse, there's a lot of off-kilter energy in the sky and around us. In Aries, this is a brand new beginning. Eclipses mark times of a chapter change in your story. And because it's a new moon, which is usually associated with new beginnings, this solar eclipse is really going to say it is time for a new chapter. All the energy that we've been through in the retrograde with Venus retrograde in Aries beforehand and Mercury retrograde in Aries has really been setting us up for this exact moment where something will likely shift in our lives pretty drastically to start that new chapter and the new year astrologically, which I always say aligns with Aries season. So take some time to really just take it all in, whatever's going on in your life, and really appreciate it for what it's doing, which is closing one door and opening another. The next day, we have the big transit and ingress of Neptune into Aries on the 30th of March. And so Neptune has been in Pisces for a very long time and is finally making its way to this next sign. So just continuing these themes of now that we've been really assessing and revising our vision, our dreams, Neptune in Aries is going to be a time when we really take action to make them happen. Instead of just feeling and hoping and wishing and envisioning our dreams, it's time to actually be bold and make it a reality, which is what I really love about this energy of Neptune into Aries. So that basically starts off the week and of the month. And then the first of the month of April, we will have Venus retrograde conjunct true node in Pisces. This is a day where the energy is really asking us to get super strong in our faith. True node is an energy of what collectively we are trying to develop more of in our energetic lives. And so with the Piscean energy of really surrendering to and believing in a bigger plan that we all have that we're living in with Venus retrograde, it's truly a time to say, yes, I receive, yes, I receive, yes, I receive, and letting go of the things and the patterns that have been blocking you from that. Probably a lot of forgiveness will be a theme of this day. Probably more towards yourself versus, let's say, I know there might be some people you're like, I'm never going to forgive those people, but can you forgive yourself for allowing those people to hurt you or those circumstances to deplete your energy or suppress your energy? If you can forgive yourself, then you can truly open up. You can grieve the mistakes, let's say, that you would think you've made and move forward with a more open energy. That Friday, April 4th, we have Mars in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. This is a wonderful time to really connect with and act on our emotions, but more so emotional connections with others and attuning empathetically with others around us. More so in Mars in Cancer, I'd like you to think of it as a time to be vulnerable with our feelings and sit with them. This is not a time in Cancer energy to fix the feelings, but it's more so to truly honor the feelings that we're expressing and the connections we're wanting to have with others, the love we have to give to others. But when it's trine Saturn in Pisces, it's saying, you know what, there needs to maybe be some clarity through the vulnerability. Okay, because the reason we might not want to be vulnerable is because we want to avoid the truth. But with Saturn in Pisces, we're getting really clear on what maybe delusions we've had, detachments from the reality we've been living. And so it's a good time, especially with also the moon in Cancer that day, to get in tune and then allow that connection and honoring of our feelings to guide us forward. Finally, on April 6th, we have Mercury going direct in Pisces. So all the reflection, all the assessments, the time is now to stay clear of it and move forward. So that's going to be really nice start to the month. However, toward the end of that week, we do see that there will be the full moon in Libra. So anytime there's a full moon, it's in the opposite sign of the solar season, which is Aries. And because Aries is a very independent energy, it's all me, me, me. And you might not be spending as much time in connection with others and having conversations to co-create identities, basically saying, this is what I believe, this is what you believe. We're going to merge the two together and find a cohesive point. So with the full moon in Libra, we might see where we are not expressing our truth fully, which prevents us from co-creating in a fully authentic, truthful way. And so, of course, let yourself feel what you need to feel and probably express what you need to express, that all the things you've been suppressing, it's time to alleviate that. And Beautiful energy the next day. We have on the 12th of April, Venus going direct in Pisces as well. So the retrograde energy that we've been in for the last over a month at that point is coming to an end. Now the shadow period is still going to be happening a bit afterward, but at this point, everything's moving forward. It's time to actually create this new life that we've been reflecting on. The next day on the 13th, Sunday, April 13th, we have Sun conjunct Chiron in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer, so collectively we've been maybe fearful of moving forward, taking action on things. There's a core wound here that collectively, the assertiveness, the drive and ambition to go do things has been a bit decreased. And so when, the Sun conjuncts something, is going to shine a light on that and offer a chance to perhaps heal that wound. On the 16th of April, we have Mercury going into Aries because it had been direct the prior week. So now we're going to, again, experience similar energy like we did the month before and move forward now in our thinking and be very bold and courageous in that, very independent energy in our thoughts and really expressing our true new identities and selves. This is after all this reflection the last month in this solar season. It is now going to be time to truly speak up and share who we are now and not have any kind of regret around that. More fire energy ending this solar season in Aries on Friday, April 18th. Mars is now in Leo. We've had this energy back a few months ago when Mars was in Leo before the retrograde started. So now, because we've experienced this retrograde for a while now in Mars Cancer, which has been direct for a little bit, we're now going to be able to, again, start taking action to create our lives with a more assertive energy. And with Mars in Leo, this is a time to get creative, to really allow your inner child to explore the things that really bring you joy and meaning. It's also probably another time to give a lot of love, share the love, and be generous with your energy, but also having learned who to really give that energy to, who does really respect you or not, and not just let yourself be taken advantage of. This is a time to be in the spotlight. So I'm really enjoying the end of this Aries season and the conclusion to all this retrograde energy where we've really reassessed everything. And now it's time to take action, time to shine and live your best life. That is your energy forecast for Aries season 2025. Again, if you'd like to take a peek at my zodiac calendar, you can find it on noonlitsage.com. I'll see you next season for the energy forecast of Taurus.